Okay, so in this video, we're going to be looking at how to find the missing sides of a similar, in a situation where you have two similar shapes. So let's pretend that we have a problem and we're told these two shapes are similar. We want to figure out what is y. So the problem is um, the two shapes are similar. What is y? That's what we're trying to figure out. Now, we're going to use the fact that similar shapes are always proportional. That means they have the same scale factor. So let's take a look at how we get at which sides correspond to which. So we've got this 4 inches. That corresponds to the 8 inches over here. And we've got 7 inches, right? That corresponds to y. We don't know what y is, so we can't figure out how to get from 7 to y. But we do know 4 and 8. And of course, here's another example where 4 turns into 8. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the pattern? What is the scale factor? Now, some of you might think 4 plus 4 equals 8. And that's a good thought, but it's not correct. We're not looking to add the scale factor. We're always multiplying or dividing by something. So in this case, what are we multiplying by? Well, 4 times 1 just equals 4. 4 times 3 equals 12. But if we try 4 times 2, then that equals 8. So 4 times 2 equals 8. Now, since we know the two shapes are similar, we know it's going to be the exact same scale factor for all of the other ones. So all we need to do to figure out what y is do 7 times 2. We know that has to equal y. And that is just because this 2, this is the scale factor. It's going to be the same. So what is 7 times 2? That's 14. 14 equals y. And that's all there is to it. Sometimes you might not get a number that's as easy. Say you couldn't figure out. Say you tried to guess a bunch of things. You guessed 1, you guessed 1.5, you guessed 2.5. You didn't think to guess 2. Well, one way you can always find the scale factor is to divide. So we take something from the bigger shape, 8, divided by the corresponding side from the smaller shape, 4, and we see that there's a dog barking in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's very distracting to me. Sorry. So 8 divided by 4 equals 2. So this just tells us the scale factor is 2. And you can check that by saying, all right, what's 4 times 2? Okay, it is 8. So that works. Sometimes you might have to check it and maybe it's dividing instead of multiplying. Or multiplying by decimal. And you can check this the same way. We get 14 for y. What is 14 divided by 7? It is also 2. That's how we know we did it correctly. So with these kinds of problems, the first thing you got to do is find the matching sides, then figure out what is the pattern. In this case, that pattern is just multiplying by 2. You're always going to multiply or divide. You're never adding something or subtracting for the pattern. So what do you have to multiply to get from the smaller shape to the bigger shape? If you can't figure that out, then you can divide to figure out the scale factor, but usually you can just guess and check. And then once you've done that, use that to figure out the missing side. So we figured out the scale factor was 2. We knew 7 matched with y, so we did 7 times 2. The last step, what I always recommend is think at the end, does your answer make sense? So maybe you accidentally did 7 divided by 2 and you got 3.5. Well, 3.5 doesn't make sense because it should be getting bigger, right? Not smaller. So if your number gets smaller, but it should have gotten bigger, or bigger because it should have gotten smaller, then you probably made a mistake. Just go back and check your work. As always, if you have questions, send me an email and have a good day. Bye-bye.